Hi there, I'm Leon Nash, CEO of NRPMediaJA.com, and you are listening to NRPMediaJA.com.
And good morning to you. Is now 6:32. It's now time for us to head into providing for you the news for this morning. Good morning and welcome to our platforms, NRPMediaJA.com. That's our radio platform. Also Facebook and YouTube at NRP Media JA. It's Monday, March 4, 2024. I am Leon Nash with the NRP Break of Day Newscast. Here are the headlines. Electoral Commission has all but put to rest ongoing discussions as to who won the recent local government elections. Former PNP Member of Parliament caretaker for Northern Trelawney, Dennis Meadows, vows to continue working for the PNP despite being removed as a caretaker. JCTU members are threatening industrial action over undue delay to settle several items of claim. Businesswoman Edith Chin sworn in as the new customer of Clarendon. 3 more fire on nation's roads, and teenagers continue to feature in crime. And in sports, Portland FA to host the launch of its Women League today at 1 p.m. The news today comes to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations whatsoever.
Celebrating 3 years since our inception, the NRP brand of radio and other social media platforms on NRP Media JA is your newest platform, accessible of your church and community activities, along with news and sports related information. It's the platform you have been longing for. So call us today at 876-336-9928 or email us at nationalreligiousmediaja@gmail.com.
NRP Media and Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
And now for the details of the news. The Electoral Commission has all but put to rest ongoing discussions as to who won the recent local government elections. In a press release on the weekend, the Commission announced that its final count has put the ruling Jamaica Labour Party as the winner of the elections, and the party with control of 7 of the local authorities and the PNP 6, inclusive of the Portmore municipality. The Electoral Commission says further that in case of a tie in the number of divisions in a municipal corporation, as is in the case of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, the 8th schedule of the Representation of the People's Act, ROPA, guides the process for the selection of the chairperson. Paragraph 61, subparagraphs 5A and B of the English, that should be the 8th schedule of the ROPA, states that in the event of a tie in the votes in the course of electing a chairperson of a municipal corporation, the principal returning officer shall have a casting vote and shall exercise that casting vote in favor of the councillor who has won the support of the majority of the councillors and who are members of the political party that received the majority of the votes cast in the area within the jurisdiction of the municipal corporation in the preceding election pursuant to the schedule. The ROPA also states that thereafter, that returning officer should preside over the election of the deputy mayor And in the event of a tie in the votes, exercise a casting vote in favor of the councillor who has the support of the majority of the councillors who are not members of the political party of which the chairperson is a member. It says the final count in respect of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation indicates that the People's National Party and the Jamaica Labour Party will each have 20 councillors in the municipal corporation. The People's National Party, having received the majority of the votes cast in the municipal corporation, will determine who will be the chairman or mayor. The Jamaica Labour Party will thereafter select the deputy mayor as set out at paragraph 615B. The Electoral Commission added that at the meeting of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, which is scheduled for Thursday, March 7 at noon, the principal returning officer by law will officiate in the selection process of the PNP's nominee for the position of mayor and for the JLP nominee as deputy mayor. The EC added that in the Portmore municipality, the People's National Party won in 9 election divisions, while the Jamaica Labour Party won in 3 electoral divisions. The mayor of the municipality, selected by direct voting, was won by the People's National Party candidates. Meanwhile, in a related story, former Member of Parliament caretaker for Northern Trelawney, Dennis Meadows, has vowed to continue to work for the People's National Party to secure victory in the general elections whenever it is called. Mr. Meadows, who was removed as the party's standard bearer by PNP President Mark Golding on the weekend, or that should be sometimes last week, to loud cheers from supporters on the weekend, said he was disappointed that he was removed, but plans to continue to work as the party's constituency chairman and to bolster support for the PNP in the constituency, as we said before, elections, whenever that is called.
I remain on the ground, and who knows what come out of that. I say no more on that. But I'm going nowhere. So any Labourite who thinks that little video can get rid of me, I remain here and work hard until the victory and the PNP is returned to Northern Trelawney.
And Mr. Meadows added that despite his removal as candidate, he holds no grudge for the leader of the PNP, Mark Golding, for having done so. According to Mr. Meadows, the comments he made about chopping and which seemed to support scamming had gone too far.
So in making a point about scammers must scam the government, who's scamming them? The choppers. I went too far in making that point. Yes. And one thing you learn as adults, when you do something wrong, you hold yourself accountable. Yes, sir. And I accept full responsibility for those words that came out of my mouth. Yes, sir. I was trying to send a message to the choppers and say, don't allow choppers to chop on you. Yes. Right? Don't allow the government to exploit you.
That was former PNP MP caretaker for Northern Trelawney, Dennis Meadows. In other news, the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions has threatened to resort to industrial its members if the government fails to treat with what it says is the government's undue delay to settle several items of claim. In a release dated Friday, March 1, under the signature of President of the JCTU, St. Patrick's Ennis, the union indicated that the board of the JCTU decided to serve the ultimatum on the Ministry of Finance, requesting a meeting within 10 days of the letter in order to finalize the outstanding items. The items referred had to do with the payment of increment for the period 2022 to 2025 and the JCTU's insistence that circular number 28 regarding traveling should be withdrawn. According to Mr. Ennis, there was agreement on the issue. However, to date, this has not been addressed despite an agreement between the government and the union to have further discussions on for January 9. That meeting was postponed. Mr. Ennis says all attempts since to get a date to finalize the discussions have proven futile. The JCTU boss informed that its members have therefore mandated the union to indicate that all efforts must be made to bring about an amicable resolution within the next 10 days, failing which normalcy cannot be guaranteed in the public sector of Jamaica. Mr. Ennis says the union has what it says is an unwavering patience in the negotiation process. However, the union believes that it was now imperative that the outstanding issues are brought to a close within the time frame indicated. Businesswoman Edith Chin has been sworn in as the new Custos Rotulum for the parish of Clarendon after Governor General Sir Patrick Allen. That should be for the parish of Clarendon by Governor General Sir Patrick Allen. The new Custos replaces William Shaguri, who served the parish for the past 13 years. Chin was presented with the instrument of office during a swearing-in ceremony held at King's House on the weekend. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen, while commenting on the installation of the new Custos, congratulated Chin on her appointment and thanked her for her willingness to assume the post. He also encouraged the other custodies across the island to support Chin in her new role. In her response, Chin expressed gratitude to the Governor General for the opportunity to serve as Custos. According to her, as she embarks on this journey, she is acutely aware of the immense responsibility that lies ahead. She added that with over 600 justices of the peace on the register and a diverse range of needs and stakeholders across Clarendon, she is committed to prioritizing partnerships, unity building, and encouraging dialogue. You're listening to news on NRP Radio. The time is now 6:43. Continuing. 3 more firearms are off the nation's roads this morning following separate police operations in St. Catherine and St. Andrew, as well as Westmoreland on the weekend. In the first instance, the police team assigned to the St. Catherine North Police Division seemed one firearm and several rounds of ammunition at the intersection of St. John's Road and Valdez Road in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, while in the second incident, a firearm and several rounds of ammunition were seized on Halfway Tree Road, Kingston 5. Both seizures were done on Saturday, March 2. Reports from the Spanish Town Police are that about 2:35 a.m., lawmen acting on information conducted an operation at a local bar, and on the arrival of the team, they were greeted with gunfire. Subsided, one man was seen with gunshot wounds to his leg. Further checks were made in the area, and one Sarlismaz 9mm pistol was recovered. The man was transported to hospital where he was treated and remained under police guard. His identity is being withheld pending further investigations. In the second operations, reports from the Crossroads Police are that about 12:35 a.m., lawmen were on patrol when 2 men were observed along the roadway acting in a manner that aroused their suspicion. On approach of the police, one of the men allegedly removed a firearm from his waistband and threw it under a parked vehicle. The man was apprehended and the firearm, a Glock 19 pistol with 13 rounds of ammunition, was retrieved. His identity is being withheld pending further investigations. Meanwhile, in a third operation, the Savannah police in Westmoreland seized a firearm and several rounds of ammunition following a targeted raid on Cook Street, Savannah, Westmoreland yesterday. Reports from the Savannah police are that about 4 a.m., a police team acting on information searched a premises and one Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 8 9mm cartridges was seized. The 4 occupants of the house were subsequently arrested. Their identities are being withheld pending further investigations. A 15-year-old boy of Ramble, Hanover was charged with wounding with intent following a shooting incident at Forest District, Ramble, in the parish on Tuesday, January 9. Reports of the Lucy police are that at about 8 p.m., a group of men were at a local shop playing dominoes when 2 armed men entered and opened gunfire at the group before making their escape. The police were alerted, and on their arrival, 2 victims of the shooting were taken to hospital for treatment. On Thursday, February 29, officers acting on information apprehended the teen and charged him following a question and answer session with his attorney and his guardian. Meanwhile, a 16-year-old girl was arrested and charged following the stabbing of her 12-year-old relative in Kerry Park, Trelawney, on Wednesday, February 14. Reports of the Falmouth police are that about 4 a.m., That should be 4 p.m. Both girls were at home when the accused used a ratchet knife to stab the complainant in the back. The girl fell, and the teenager subsequently stabbed her several times in the upper body before fleeing the scene. The police were alerted, and the complainant was assisted to the hospital where she was admitted. The accused later turned herself in at the Duncans police station, where she was charged with wounding with intent. Her court date is being finalized. And 29-year-old Michael Lee, a vendor of Rodney Hall Road, Linstead, St. Catherine, was arrested and charged with assault at common law and possession of prohibited weapon following an incident at his home on Thursday, February 15. Reports of the Linstead police are that about 4:20 p.m., the complainant and his wife had a dispute when Lee, who is the complainant's stepson, entered the house armed with a black-handled shotgun. He then pointed the firearm in the man's face, then left. Lee was taken into custody on Thursday, February 29, and subsequently charged following a question and answers interview. You're listening to news on NRP Radio, your primary Christian source for news, sports, and the weather on nrpmediaja.com, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations. Now let's give you sporting information courtesy of Hepburn's Glass. They are located at 13 Chisholm Avenue in Kingston, Jamaica. Stay tuned right here as we continue in our newscast on NRP Radio.
Hepburn's Glass Supplies is the latest trend-setting supplier of glass and mirrors in the industry. Specialize in tinted and clear glasses as well your windows, doors, and closets at very competitive prices. To maximize your shopping experience, we stock 316 and 1/8 mirror thickness and 316 and quarter thickness in our entire stock of float glasses. We have in stock gloves, cutters, and suction cups at unbeatable prices. Our customer service is second to none with same-day cutting for your specific measurements. Visit our office at 13 Chisholm Avenue, Kingston 13. Call us at 908-0962 or email hepburn.glass@gmail.com. Hepburn's Glass, quality service is our priority.
And now for our sports stories, we kick off on football. Bayer Leverkusen moved 10 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga following a victory at 10-man Cologne. After defending champions Bayern Munich were held to a 2-2 draw by Freiburg on Friday, Xavier Alonso's side had a big opportunity to extend their lead. Their task was aided when Cologne's Jam Thielmann was shown a straight red card for a foul on Granit Xhaka. Jeremy Frimpong then opened the scoring before Alex Grimaldo's low strike made it 2-0 in the second half. Leverkusen, who have now gone 34 games without defeat in all competitions this season, are on 64 points, with Bayern second on 54. In local football, the Portland FA will be hosting the launch of its Women's League today at 1 p.m. at the Football Association's office at Carter Park. The league will be named the Anne-Marie Vaz Kind Hearts Women's League. This will be followed with the opening game between the defending champions Happy Grove High School taking on former champion Titchfield High School at 3 p.m. Meanwhile, in the lone Portland FA Western Union Major League on Sunday, Manchester CC dismissed Kensington SC 9-1 as Fabian Affleck slotted home 6 goals. In the 14, Manchester was held to a 1-1 draw. On cricket news now, spinner Nathan Lyon took 6 for 65 as Australia wrapped up a 172-run win over New Zealand in the first test in Wellington. The hosts were dismissed for 196 before lunch on day 4 as Australia went 1-0 or 1-up in the 2-match series. New Zealand had started the day on 111 for 3, chasing a victory target of 369. Lyon, who is 36, dismissed Rachin Ravinja, Tom Blundell, and Glenn Phillips inside the first hour to set the tone as he claimed a 24th Test 5-wicket haul. Daryl Mitchell and Scott Coughlan, Cogiglin offered some resistance with a 36-run partnership for the Black Caps' seventh wicket, but all-rounder Cameron Green, whose 174 not out in the first innings, was instrumental to Australia's success, dismissed the latter for 26. That's sports in the NRP Break of Days newscast, brought to you by Hepburn's Glass. They are located at 13 Chisholm Avenue in Kingston. We promise to bring you a good news story as often as we can. If you know of or are aware of any event or person whose good story we should highlight, please send this information to our email address at nationalreligiousmediaja@gmail.com or call or WhatsApp 876-336-9928. That's the local news and sports. Stand by now for the latest international news, courtesy of the Voice of America.
This is VOA News. I'm Tommy McNeil. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris bluntly called out Israel on Sunday for not doing enough to ease a humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza as the Biden administration faces increasing pressure to Iran and its close ally while it wages war against Hamas militants.
Reuters gave Singer reports.
People in Gaza are starving. The conditions are inhumane, and our common humanity compels us to act, and the Israeli government must do more to significantly increase the flow of aid. No excuses.
Speaking in Alabama, Harris said Israel must open new border crossings and not impose, quote, unnecessary restrictions on aid delivery. She also called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and urged Hamas to accept a deal to release hostages in return for a pause in fighting.
AP correspondent Donna Warder reports Israeli cabinet official Benny Gantz plans to meet with Vice President Harris and other top U.S. officials.
An Israeli official says Gantz wants to strengthen ties with the U.S., bolster support for Israel's war, and push for the release of Israeli hostages. The meetings come days after dozens of Palestinians were killed as they tried to get food from an Israel-organized convoy. The U.S. began a series of airdrops of aid into Gaza on Saturday.
AP's Donna Warder reporting. Police say a group of men in masks opened fire at an outdoor party in Central California, killing 4 people and injuring 3 others. The King City Police Department says officers responded to a reported shooting around 6 p.m. Sunday and found 3 men with gunshot wounds who were pronounced dead in front of a yard. 4 other people sustained gunshot wounds, including a woman who died after being transported to a hospital. This is VOA News.
Thank you so much for listening there to the latest from the Voice of America. That is international news. Stand by now for the weather report and forecast coming to you right here on NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations whatsoever. Stay tuned as we bring the weather report and forecast to you. If you're just joining us, this is the local weather report and forecast supplied to us by the National Meteorological Service of Jamaica. The Met Service says that there's a significant feature of a weak trough across Jamaica. The trough is expected to remain across the island for the next few days. In the 24-hour forecast this morning, mainly sunny. This afternoon, mostly cloudy across western parishes and some hilly areas, otherwise mainly sunny. Tonight becoming fair. In terms of the 3-day forecast starting tomorrow, that's a Tuesday through to Thursday. On Tuesday, expect mainly sunny conditions in the morning. Isolated afternoon showers across western parishes, otherwise fair. On Wednesday, mainly sunny in the morning, afternoon showers across the sections of central and western parishes, and on Thursday, isolated afternoon showers across western parishes and hilly areas, and elsewhere should be isolated afternoon showers across western parishes and hilly areas elsewhere. In terms of other current regional features, there are none at this time. The maximum temperature expected for Kingston today, 32 degrees Celsius, and the maximum temperature expected for Montego Bay today, 31 degrees Celsius. That is the latest weather report and forecast right here inside of the NRP Break of Day newscast on NRP Radio. With that, we've come to the end of our news presentation for this morning. But before we go, the headlines once again. Electoral Commission has put to rest ongoing discussions as to who won the recent local government elections. Former PNP MP caretaker for Northern Trelawney, Dennis Meadows, vows to continue working for the PNP despite being removed as a caretaker. JCTU members threaten industrial action over undue delay to settle several items of claim. Businesswoman Edith Chin sworn in as the new Custos of Clarendon. 3 more firearms off the nation's streets, and teenagers continue to feature in crime. And in sports, Portland FA to host the launch of its Women's League today at 1 p.m. The full half-an-hour package of news in the NRP Break of Day newscast came to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations. Here is your invitation to join us again this evening at 6:30 for the NRP Evening News Roundup. On behalf of the entire news and production teams, I am Leon Nash for NRP News. We encourage you to join this growing medium by subscribing to our YouTube channel at NRP Media JA. Feel fulfilled and informed. Have a good rest of your morning, reminding you too that if you walk, ride, or drive, to arrive alive. Have a good one. And here's reminding you that coming up on top of the hour at 7 o'clock will be the program Let the Word Speak with Reverend Paul Blair. Do have for yourselves a wonderful rest of the day, and we hope to see you again this evening inside of our evening news presentation. Stay tuned as we close out our news this morning.